Okay, so this video is going to explain what options are, how they work, how you can make money from them, in the simplest way possible. I'm going to be using gamer terminology, a lot of gamer vocabulary, verbiage, so that way the people that I can explain this or talk to or talk about this or teach this will have a understanding from a gamer's perspective on how it works. So when we trade the stock market, we're looking at three major servers. That's the SPY, which is Spider, QQQ, okay, IWM, right? These are the three major servers. What I mean by servers are basically stocks that contain large amounts of other stocks, right? So when we trade, we are exchanging like cash for shares of these things against NPCs, with NPCs and with other players inside the servers, yada yada yada. Same thing with the options. However, options work slightly differently. So as you can see, when I submit a order to buy, let's say, 100 shares, the cost of buying this particular share is going to cost me 100 of them. To get 100 shares, it's going to cost me like $21,000. Okay? And when I make this and I send this order in, it's going to grab an exchange. It's going to grab as many shares it can from NPCs, other players, also whatever remains inside the remaining pool. Okay. So these 100 shares are not going to come from one individual person. These shares are going to come from a mixture of different people, of the NPCs, mixture of the other players. So I might get 10 shares from one player, 20 shares from some other player, right? So it's going to be mixed. Options, they work differently. So as we go to press options, you can see that there's two types of options. There's calls and there's puts. For now, we're only going to be focused on the calls. Okay? There's buyers and sellers of each side. Okay? The second thing you'll notice is that there's an expiration date. Okay? Now what options are pretty much contracts that are exchanged by one NPC to one player to another NPC, somewhere in the ether. An exchange of stocks at a certain price, you'll see here on the left, on a certain date, you'll see here in the top right. So as an example, we will choose an expiration a month from now. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll also purchase a contract. The stock price currently is at 210.57. We'll purchase a contract at 213. Okay. Now what is this doing what is this saying is that on April 26th, as the contract is expiring, I have the right to purchase this stock, IWM, from the NPC that I'm buying it from. Okay, at 213. So on April 26th, I will be taking from this other player's account 100 shares of his stock, and I will be buying it at 213. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I buying it from him at 213 if I can buy it now for 210? And there's two reasons why I'm going to do that. The first reason is that I anticipate at the end of this expiration, the stock will be higher than 213. I predict that IWM will be maybe, for example, at 218. Okay? So if I'm correct in this hypothetical situation, and the stock goes to the servers shoot the stock up to 218. I've purchased this contract to buy the shares at 213 from the NPC that I agreed, from the one person, right? So the person on the other end of this has to have 100 shares of IWM right here. Okay? So unlike stock, where I'm purchasing like a whole bunch of shares and I'm getting it from random NPCs, mixture of different NPCs and players, this contract is stating is an agreement between two people. Okay? The other reason why I might be purchasing this option, this contract, is because I'm only risking a small amount of money. So as you saw before, it costed me $20,000-ish to buy 100 shares of IWM, right? By purchasing this contract, I'm only risking $3.55 times 100, right? Because each of these contracts represent a value of 100 shares. So you can see at the bottom right here, my max loss is only the amount of money that I paid for the contract. Okay? My max profit is unlimited. Okay? Because there's no limit on how far stock can go up. And that's theoretical. The likeliness of probability, that's a little different. But the theoretical profit is unlimited. Okay? Now you might be telling yourself, $358 is still a lot. Okay? That's a lot of money. The way that I make my money is I do spreads with these things. So I don't purchase them outright. I buy and then sell another one. So let's say I sell the 215. Now now it's looking like this at the bottom right hand corner. Now I'm only risking $82. My profit is capped at $215, or my profit's capped at $119 top, if you see at the top right, but I'm paying less money. Okay, and this is all if I have the assumption that IWM is going to go past up above these two chosen contracts before or at of the expiration. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I can also invert these as well. So I could do the same thing here, where I can invert them. Hopefully this makes sense, because this little picture here is going to demonstrate exactly my profit and loss on these spreads. So basically, in other words, instead of making money, instead of buying a stock for 210 and having it go up on the regular stock market, I make money on the range, right? I make money on the range of it going up. Hopefully that makes sense. If you take a look at this, right? So below is red for me, and green, everything green is above, is green for me. Now, one additional thing that I want to mention is why would a person want to sell me a contract of this like why would somebody want to remove their shares at 213? Okay, so if a person has 100 shares of this IWM, it's currently at 210, the stock's going sideways, they're selling me this contract, right? And they'll be making money if the stock goes sideways, because at April 26th, if the stock is not above the 213 price, this contract will expire worthless. Okay, so if it expires worthless and he sold it, then he's profiting the entire $355. Okay, now he has hypothetically in this scenario, this NPC that I bought it from has $20,000 worth of shares. He's making $350 off of me within the month, right? But he's making money if the stock does nothing or goes sideways. And let's say he bought it at, let's say when it was $180. If he is forced to sell it to me at 213, he would still be in profit, right? So this is a way for him to make money off of the stock not moving at all. Or it's also a way for him to make money as the stock is going down, right? Because if the stock's going down, this 213 contract will expire pretty much worthless and be nothing. The only contracts that will actually come into value and actually exchange are the prices that are the stocks that the contracts that are below this share price right here. So everything here, everybody that has made contracts between these prices will exchange on April 26th.